Let's do high blood and low blood. That ought to carry us, or at least get us started on it, and then we can do the other bloods a little later. High blood, or you want to start with low blood?
Oh, I don't care, but you want to start? Or?
Okay, high blood. And keep in mind, because the words are simple, they're not your most complex words. You know, they have multiple definitions, and a lot of the definition of the words depends upon the situation you're in. You know, so no extensive vocabulary here, but multiple definitions for a word. So high blood could mean stagnated blood anywhere in the upper body, basically. So it was just blood that wasn't moving, it was congesting, it was stagnating. And because it was stagnating, it could turn into bad blood, it was thicker, you know, or there was something blocking it from moving around. So you've got, people would say, I feel like my neck is getting tight and all the blood's stuck in my head. You know, that would be an example of high blood. But basically it would be anywhere above the heart. You would get high blood. And that would also include the concept of high blood pressure. Later, that made its way into the vocabulary. If a person has high blood, they've got high blood pressure, which fit in with the folk definition of blood stuck up in the head. You know, you got blood that's not moving up there, it's making pressure in your head that's just going to keep expanding your head out till your head bursts. Like a balloon, and when it burst, you had a stroke. You know, too much blood in your head because your blood was too high. And that's kind of the basic definitions of high blood. So remedies were designed around pulling the blood down in the body.
Doesn't it mean though, let's see, in addition, isn't high blood hotter? Or?
Yes, it's hotter, the face is red, because it's not, you know, it's not moving, it's sitting there, everything's festering in it, makes it hotter, and the face generally was red, cheeks red, neck felt tight. Sometimes people had the headache, you know, people say, I've got high blood, I got a headache from my high blood.
This would be like the women before the period, they'd get the flushed cheeks and the headache.
Yeah, the blood would be high. So, you know, signs to look for definitely was the headache, the tightness in the neck, the flushed cheeks. Sometimes the ears would get red, or they'd have ringing in the ears because they would feel like their blood was stuck in their head, and the pressure was making their ears ring. So there were all these little signs. Bothering their vision would get blurry, and so they would have trouble seeing. All these were signs of high blood. So one way to remedy high blood was to take herbs that drew the blood down in the body, that made it come back down, and to avoid the foods and herbs that sent it back up. Like sassafras would send the blood toward the head. So that would be to be avoided if someone thought they had high blood. And one set of remedies for high blood were the laxatives, were the liver herbs and the laxatives that forced bile to move and forced a bowel movement, because the thought was, it's making your blood come back down here for you to expel this from your body. Another remedy for high blood was putting your feet in hot water, because the heat drew the blood down to your feet, which relieved the congestion, blood congestion in the head and neck. So avoiding alcohol, avoiding pork was known to, you eat pork, you got high blood within 30-40 minutes of eating pork. People who were susceptible would tell, and you could tell a difference in how your blood reacted to the eating of the pork. So avoiding the foods that were known to cause high blood was also part of that. So, and then move the blood away from the top of the body, move it down into the lower limbs, move it down to the gut if at all possible.
Now, this concept actually, now that we're talking about it, I know is found not just in the north, but in Britain too. And I don't know that they had a name for it though, but You remember the movie Little Women?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
yeah, I
Remember?
did. I saw that
And,
and read the book.
and the mother and I mean, here we're talking about people who are, they're probably Unitarians. I mean, they're like the elite New Englanders, but the mother goes to visit the father in the Civil War hospital who's wounded and leaves the daughters, and the one daughter gets a fever and gets real sick, and the other daughters can't help her. They try a homeopathic remedy. They try a really good guess, belladonna, but it doesn't work, and she's got pounding fever, feet in the head, and the mother gets home and they despair. They try bloodletting too, and with the doctor in town, and they've all given up. And the mother gets home and she throws the quilt off and she says, "We've got to get the heat, or the blood." I can't remember what she says. "We've got to get the heat down into the feet."
Yeah, yeah, and they did, and I can't remember what they did. Hot water bottles at the feet to draw the blood down, because it does do that. You know, the capillaries open in the feet, the blood moves down there to try to cool the feet off, so everything does pull downward in the body. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I remember a British herbalist in the 1940s saying, "Well, they call it high blood pressure nowadays, but we just treated these in the old days," and she gives it some name. It's not high blood, but she's basically talking about the same kind of thing. Right. So, yeah. So the state is acknowledged, but it doesn't have a name, at least. Yeah.
Right.
So.